The bench knows there are strongly held differing views about the fairness of the implementation of the Treasury's 2019 loan charge. However, recent media reports have identified the severe impact of this huge retrospective charge as having on the mental health of some of the contractors. Mr. Speaker, I have real concerns for their well-being. Will the Minister commit to setting up a 24-hour helpline to provide support for individuals caught in this trap?
At thousands of bankruptcies, family breakups, suicide attempts, mental illness, unemployment, loss of abode and more. This is a catalogue of human suffering and misery.
Retrospective taxation by this government, going back 20 years, many of these families will lose their home, forced into bankruptcy, and I'm afraid some will commit suicide.
If what we see is bankruptcies, falling businesses, repossessions, even suicide, it will be because this government hasn't done the outreach it needed.
Now that most of us have got constituents who are affected in this way, it can't be right that people are facing serious situations which will undermine their financial security, but also even their mental health.
Mr. Speaker, an unusual thing happened last night. Conservative MPs and opposition MPs united. Leavers and Remainers united. United to back my proposal for review of retrospection in a law called the loan charge, which offends against the rule of law and has caused misery to tens of thousands of people. So, in her role as First Lord of the Treasury, will the Prime Minister agree to meet with me and a cross-party delegation of MPs to discuss this new review into the loan charge?
71% fear bankruptcy, 31% fear relationship breakdown, and 39% have suicidal thoughts. This is a policy that will cost lives.
Finally, apart from going bankrupt or committing suicide, how do HMRC expect most individuals to be able to repay such sums at short notice?
And will you agree with me that from the stories we hear from our constituents, some of these people are not only afraid of losing their homes and their living, but they're actually having suicidal thoughts due to the pressure that's being put on them.
Describes a dark cloud hanging over his head. I quote, "It has been hell and I have at times considered suicide. It will affect my kids' entire life in that I will be unable to support them as they grow older and I may be unable to buy a property for the rest."
Those who are affected, depression, mental health impact, 68%, bankruptcy, 71%, loss of residence home, 49%, divorce and relationship breakdown, 30%, loss of career, 30%, and suicide or self-harm thoughts, 39%.
We heard from the family last week of a man who committed suicide over a small amount, but it was the shame and fear that he would go to prison that sent...
The government knew this when the legislation was enacted, because the impact statement chillingly stated the government anticipate that some of these individuals will become insolvent as a result. My lords, that is now coming to pass. It has been reported that some people are suicidal and that personal relationships have often been destroyed.
All party group has evidence that HMRC know of up to 6 related suicides, yet yesterday the Chief Exec of HMRC denied.
Last week MPs heard harrowing testimony from family members of a man who tragically committed suicide because he faced the loan charge, a 20-year retrospective tax facing thousands of families in my constituency and across the UK. Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister said on the 9th of January that the government accepted the review into the loan charge. Yet the loan charge APPG was only advised this week by the Treasury that there is no such review. Mr. Speaker, the Treasury have acted in bad faith, so will my right honourable friend now personally intervene to ensure a genuine review and an urgent delay into the loan charge so that this review, as promised, can be carried out?